and thank you all for coming to the annual meeting of Market Center Merchants Association. My name is Steve Samuelson. I'm the president of the board, and I'm so happy that everybody is here to listen to us tonight and help support our organization and what we do. We had a guest speaker tonight by the name of Commissioner Davis, who has told us that he could not come tonight, but Major Jones is here. Major Jones is the district commander of Central District. He has a long history of police work, which I'm going to read to you in a moment. And of course, he is as being Central District commander, our go-to person when we need or have questions. And he'll be speaking with us, and we're going to have a question and answer session as well. And I hope that you'll all feel free to ask him anything that you need to ask him concerning security of the west side of that. There are some people here that I'd like to point out. To put my eyes on. Senator Barbara Robinson. Senator Robinson, would you stand? Thank you so much for coming and helping us out. And we have Kiefer Mitchell here from the state of Maryland. Kiefer, thank you so much for coming by. I wanted to mention, in case you all aren't 100% aware of what we do and what our association does. We have 300 businesses that we represent, all of whom are taxed at 20 cents a square foot, and the tax that the city collects comes to us. Our job is to provide security, rebuild the west side, attract merchants, attract businesses, attract people. And it's a hard job, and we all know why. But we do meet monthly, and we have committees that were chosen. We're going to hear from those committee heads in a few minutes after we speak with Major Jones. And they're going to tell you what we do and how we do it and where we are and what we're trying to do. And hope that we'll be fortunate enough with your help and with the help of others to be able to do it and change the face of the west side of that town. Is that an easy job? No, it's not. But got to start somewhere. We think we're on the right path. So let me tell you a bit about Major Jones. He's a 22-year veteran of the Baltimore City Police Department. And like I said, he's commander of Central District. He oversees the operations of the patrol and discretionary units assigned to the Central District. His previous assignments include Commander of Operational Intelligence Section, Commanding Officer of Southwest District, Executive Officer of Southeastern District, Lieutenant of the Special Enforcement Section, Sergeant of the Gun Trace Task Force, Sergeant of Violent Crimes Impact Division, Detective of Warrant Apprehension Task Force, and he was a police officer in the District Patrol and Operations. He has quite a history for these 22 years and has obtained the rank of Major and Commander of Central District. So, Major Jones, where are you?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. My bio was pretty good. I wrote it myself. So I am the commander for the Central District. I took over command for the Central District June of last year, coming from the Operational Intelligence Section where I was the commander of that unit. Basically, Operational Intelligence housed all of what we call the sexy divisions in the unit. In the department, I had the Warrant Task Force, Gun Task Force, Regional All Theft Task Force, all of the heightened enforcement groups with DEA, ATF, Homeland Security. I had the undercover squads, I had Vice, I had all of that stuff. I did so well, I think, that they gave me the Central District as just another task. Many of you, as you well know, the Central District is a dynamic district. It is unlike any of the other 8 districts. It goes from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the morning. There's some of the districts that I've had the pleasure of working in, you realize that at 12 o'clock at night or a little bit earlier or later, that district pretty much goes to sleep. The Central, unfortunately, never goes to sleep. One thing I've learned about the Central District that is also just unique to the district is, you know, Baltimore City has 600,000 plus residents in the city. Any given day, depending on the event, the Central District can have 600,000 individuals just inside of the Central District. So that amongst itself brings it to have its own different issues and responsibilities as the commander of that district. I saw some questions that were given. I don't know if you want me to go off of the list that was pre-given to you, or you want to ask me individual questions. I'll really answer them in reference to the Lexington Market and the Merchants Association. I can do it as you will. You want me to go off the list, or you want me to go off of?
Go for this and then we can have questions.
Sure. So the first question off the list, number one says, it will be helpful for the audience to have a baseline understanding of the current coverage and chains of command for the market. For example, while most people know the market center is in the Central District, few people know which posts cover the market and how they are staffed. The Lexington market is on 111 posts. Each district is broken down into sectors, posts. You're on 111 posts. It's staffed as such. You will normally have a shift commander or SIC, who will be the sergeant in charge for that shift. You then have a sergeant. You then have an officer who is assigned to that post. So you have 1, 1, and 1. The uniqueness of the Lexington market is you have the ability to have a foot deployment inside of the market. Newly assigned to that unit is Sergeant Ruiz to my left. The foot unit is comprised of 1 sergeant, 4 officers. The first officer comes in. His shift is 10 in the morning till 6 p.m. You then have an overlapping shift that then comes in. What's that? What's this overlapping?
There's a 7 a.m. to 3.
7 a.m. to 3. So 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then the overlapping is 10 to 6. The first officer comes in at 7 in the morning. The other 3 officers come in at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. until the market closes. What we just added to the Lexington market area is a foot component. So we had a graduating class last week of 36 individuals. Of those 36 individuals, all of those individuals except 4 came to the Central District. Of the 32 that we have, all of them are in the downtown area on 111 posts and different foot posts throughout the 111 posts. 3 of them are assigned to the 100 to the 300 block of North Utah in reference to Lexington Market. So their shift normally is from 10 to 6, 11 to 7. They'll work that shift, and then they'll have an evening shift that comes on and overlaps until 2 in the morning. They run that 7 days a week. The 2 days that they are off, you only have 1 squad working whenever 1 squad is off. That's normally how the coverage is for that area. What we've also had to do post the civil unrest of 2015, we've had a permanent car at the corner of Utah and Saratoga, which is housed by 1 officer from the Patrol Bureau. His responsibility for everything else is to get out, be proactive, do civil citations, engage with the community, business checks.
So that's his responsibility?
That's what his responsibility should be, yes. Now what happens is that detail rotates, so you may get an officer who may want to take the whole detail for the whole 10-hour shift. You get some who don't want it, they may want it for only 2 or 3 hours or something like that, whatever works out with the shift commander. So for a portion of that, they may be in the car writing and trying to catch up on reports. But the idea is to have them out of the car engaging with the community. Second question was, we would like to know how you are working to maximize the resources at your disposal. How is BPD working to increase officer recruitment, retention? How BPD is working to improve technology to enable more efficient use of officers' time. how BPD is addressing the large crowds and students that congregate in the market and around Lexington Market. The biggest thing that we've done in reference to trying to address recruitment is revitalization of the cadet program. We've also reached out in reference to the Explorer program, things that over the years have fell to the wayside, so now we have a revitalization of that. The idea is that with the Explorer program, you had young individuals who got out of the Explorer program around the age of 18, and we didn't get them back in reference to joining the police department. So that Explorer to Cadet Bridge is what's going to have a more robust academy class of individuals who will stay inside of the BPD program until they can become 21, joining the force and going through the academy. Another thing that we've done in the agency is we've seen that, unlike the national average normally for most police departments, they have a civilian staff of about 30%. Baltimore City Police Department right now has a civilian staff of like 16%, which means there are a lot of officers who are inside that could be out on the street. So the push is to look at civilianizing a lot of those inside jobs, to have those officers who are now doing administrative duties out on the street, so that'll put more officers out on the street where you can see them. As you well know, the staffing shortages that Baltimore City is facing, the police department, FOP, and the mayor are right now in a contract negotiation in reference to dealing with the contract that we're under right now, which is 10-hour days and 4 days on, 3 days off. The current staffing and scheduling we have right now just does not support this new schedule, so we're looking at contract negotiations to provide still a 10-day work day, but they're trying to change the work schedule from a 4-3 to another workable schedule. Another thing we've been doing in the agency is we're going back to what's called excellence in policing. We believe that the morale in the agency has taken a hit, so the idea is just recognizing those officers that are still engaged in the crime fight or being that guardian with the neighborhood, not just an occupying force. So the excellence in policing is when district commanders or any specialized units want to recognize anyone who's under their command. These individuals will then have a meal as a group with the commissioner. They'll be given different kinds of unit citations depending on what the accomplishment was. They'll give the deputy commissioners challenge on, and what they'll do as another incentive is give them 1 week to be assigned to a detail of their choice. So if you're a patrol officer and you're out there every day doing 10-hour days, and you've just been in patrol for a while, but you have an aspiration to go to the warrant task force, or you have an aspiration to go into a detective unit, this gives you that chance to go see what those detectives do for a 1 week period. You add some tools to your tool belt as an incentive. The police commissioner is looking into, in reference to some of the senior officers, we're looking into creating a master patrol officer position. It will be similar to what the other jurisdictions do as far as trooper first class or corporals. This will be a bridge between some of our senior officers right before they go right into the sergeant level. So it'll give them some training before they are assigned to the rank of sergeant. So this is one thing that we're doing as an incentive to keep officers around. We're also looking at creating for the detective division a detective first class rank. As far as recruitment goes, we're testing every day at Baltimore City Police Department at 12 o'clock, 12:30 every day in the headquarters building. So that's one avenue that we're also working with in reference to trying to keep and maintain officers available on the street. Third question, we would like to get your response to our request for increased foot patrols, retention, more expedient responses to police complaints, calls for service, increased enforcement in reference to disorderlies, illegal hacking, and local solicitation. So with this new academy class, as I just mentioned, we have increased your foot patrol in reference to the Lexington Market area. So that gives you 3 officers from that 100 block of Utah. Also with the units that are already inside of the market under Sergeant Ruiz, we're using both of these aspects to hit both sides of the market. We know the backside of the market has some issues with the illegal hacking. I expressed to Sergeant Ruiz the importance of these civil and criminal and traffic citations in reference to the parking violations, the illegal dumping, the solicitation, the loitering, the littering that we've had in that area. So I believe with Sergeant Ruiz in his position, he's coming from a background of operational intelligence where I came from. He was a sergeant in reference to one of the West Side enforcement teams. So I think he's the right man for the job in reference to targeting and getting these young officers involved and engaged. So I think with those foot officers out there right now, you'll see an increase of not only just their army presence in the area, but their eagerness to get out there, to get engaged, to show us what they can do. So MCMA is concerned, the drug dealing, drug use, loitering, disorderly conduct is being normalized in the market to the point where officers just accept it. We would like to hear your plan to ensure that this does not happen and to the extent that it already has to reverse it. Narcotics enforcement is very important to me. I've done narcotics enforcement pretty much all of my life. It's been guns and drugs. Worn wires, I've bought and sold drugs and guns undercover. So I've got that pretty much down pat, and I understand how we can get in and confess it. What we've done is, on the macro level, we realized as the city as a whole that if we put a focus on the Eastern District, the Western District, we'll win the city as a whole, because these have, over time, have been our most problematic districts. So what we've also done on the micro level for each district is we've created what we call commander zones. Your Lexington market is in my commander zone 1, which has its own operations team of 1 and 4, which is targeted just specifically in that area to go after what we call your known, these individuals who are involved in your drug trades. So they go after, you know, as Commissioner VFL will say, we're no longer fishing with the harpoon. We're fishing with a net, we're fishing with the harpoon. So we're going after those individuals who are driving the crime in that area, extracting them through either arrests for felony reasons, handgun violations, but also individuals that we check every day to have open warrants. We're ensuring that these individuals are removed from the street. Just recently, at the end of March, we did a search and seizure warrant, 228 Utah Street of Absolute Mark. My foot officers in that area observed enough probable cause to get a search warrant because they believed that that business was involved with some of the illegal trade in that area. So a search and seizure warrant was executed on the Absolute Mark. So at that point, I think 3 individuals, to include two individuals who were associated with the business, were arrested. We are still looking for, in reference to those businesses who are adding to the problem in the area. So that's something that Sergeant Ruiz has that task of focusing on that. Another thing that we're doing in reference to the illegal drug trade is a sit down with the DEA. I have a close relationship with the SAP over there. We spoke approximately a month ago in reference to doing some joint initiatives around the market. We realized that some of the methadone clinics, so the pain clinics in the area, in reference to the sale of your prescription drugs, that has been a big focus. So we're looking at the diversion group of our federal partners, starting to put that under a microscope to do federal prosecution in reference to that drug trade as far as that goes. One thing that I can say for my officers is that, you know, at no time do we take anything lightly when it comes to illegal activity within the market. We realize that it's a location that, you know, I've been a denizen of the city my whole life. I'm 44 years old. I'm born and raised, and came to Lexington Market as a young kid from the east side. So it's something that's been a staple of this community, and we know that we need it in this area for the jobs that it brings, and also with the tourism. So, you know, it's one thing that just having to explain to the officers just the importance of what the market brings. I think One thing that the agency is doing now, which we wasn't doing when I was coming through, is we're teaching the history of Baltimore and the academy to these new recruits. Well-being of the city. So that's one thing that I think that we're getting to with these academy recruits. They go through the academy when the sergeant, lieutenants, when they go through in-service, while the recruits get a 40-hour block of it. The sergeants and the officers who go through in-service get an 8-hour block of the history of Baltimore, learning the nuances of these neighborhoods, the diversity, the cultural sensitivity of some neighborhoods that we have to address. It deals with the LGBT community. It goes over a whole spectrum of different sensitivities and things as far as the community that need to be addressed. So I think that's a big thing. It goes over also the history of foot, of how important foot is to an area, of getting the officers engaged with the community, getting out of their car, speaking to people. I know it's an art that we know you don't want it to say this millennial generation. But I know I have a 13-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, and it's just a little different, you know. It's they're different. Officers are different as well. They're so microwave that they want it on a computer, they want it on an app, they want it on something where back in the day I had a piece of paper where I had to write somebody's name down and stick it in my back pocket and try to remember this person. And walking foot came naturally to us because it's what we did. So when we walked down the street and we engaged the community, I got to know who they were, they got to know who I was. And then there was also this dynamics of walking down the street, seeing Miss Johnson sitting on her step or in the windowsill, and as you walk by, she may give you a nugget of information of, you might want to watch that house on the corner. Now, Ms. Johnson doesn't want me to stop and look at her. She doesn't want me to say hi, wave. She just wants me to take that little nugget and keep on going. Now, some days she may want to be engaged, but some days she doesn't. And that's something that the officers have to learn to get to that point in their career. And hopefully through the history of foot and getting them out there, each academy class from now on will do some kind of foot in either this district or another district. I know this was the first district to actually have an orientation the day before their graduation with Downtown Partnership. Downtown Partnership brought the whole group down here, fed them, gave them some instructions on the importance of the clean team and the safe team and how Downtown Partnership works. So going forward, I think this is going to be a good partnership that we're starting with this recruit class, starting them on the right path. I think that was it. So I'm open for any questions. Anybody, please raise your hand. I'll do my best to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Questions. We got him here. He's the district commander. I know you have issues. Let's get those issues out.
So most organizations have a problem trying to backfill behind senior experience rolling out the door. So in any given year, how many do you have to recruit to replace the senior officers who are actually retiring and doing other things?
I don't want to.
Could you say if you can hear in the back? Or repeat that?
So the question was, most organizations, especially today, have an issue with senior staff members retiring, leaving. It's true in public works, transportation, the MTA, and certainly the police department. So the question is, how many people do you have to recruit to fill the positions that are soon going to be empty?
So to give you an exact number of how many we're going to have to recruit as an agency, I can't give you that question. I can't give you the answer. What I know is on an average, we're probably losing around 19 a month as far as an agency as a whole, and we're recruiting about 15. The idea is to now, the agency is in contract negotiations. We're also dealing with exit interviews to find out what's driving these individuals to want to leave. So it's through these exit interviews that we realize that the excellence in policing, the acknowledgement of the officers, getting the guys realizing that the staff shortages is an issue, and then trying to work through those staff shortages in reference to trying to find other ways of having officers out on the street. Right now, what we're doing is, because we're going into the summer months, we're going into our summer deployment. So what this does is from May to September, normally those officers, sergeants, and lieutenants who normally would not be in a patrol function, they are being detailed to patrol for 5 days. And they're going to supplement patrol to be out on the street. So that's one thing that we're doing right now. But the biggest thing is going to be in that contract negotiation and trying to just get that schedule together. There are some individuals who, when you get that golden parachute and you get to that point where you can retire, I mean, I think that's going to be something that anybody looks to when you get there. I'm a 23-year, that was a year late when I gave to that. I'm a 23-year veteran. I could have retired when I was 20, my 20 years. I'm still here. I think it's a dedication of an individual. I don't think it's one thing that you can say that's going to make one individual stay. I think it's distinct to that person. And if it's a better job or it's schools or it's something that comes along, and you just got to take it as a senior individual. You know, it's a personal judgment. I think what the agency has done is just shown the ability to. We don't want to bring money. We realize that, you know, that you may replace people, but or you could fill a position that's hard to replace them. As a 23-year veteran, I've seen and done things and know some nuances of this city. So the idea is trying to reach out to those individuals who are 20 plus veterans and just showing them that we need it here. We had an intel meeting today with my guys, and the idea is you have to let your people know that how much you need them. You don't take them for granted. And that's what one thing I did today is, look, our crime looks pretty good in the district. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I need you out here. I need you in the fight. I know it's long days. I know it's getting warm. So that's just one thing that we've got to do. So.
Thank you.
We're going to, with Ann, and then we're going to go to the back with Dee next, and then.
So, I actually have a question and a comment. So twice now, thank you. Twice now, I've actually approached two officers and two individuals who are cars and made mention to them that there was someone selling drugs. You know, there was illegal drug activity going on across the street. Will you address it? And you just, pretty much it's the norm that they do drugs around here all the time. To me, I just can't reconcile that being the norm accepted by the officers. First of all, it's a citizen's complaint. Secondly, I'm giving you intel, and you're doing nothing but sitting there going, okay, thanks. How do I handle that in the future if that happens again?
And we meet all the time, and I'll shoot right from the hip. I would love to say that everybody who dons this uniform that I'm so proud to wear every day should don this uniform, but they don't. There are some people at your job, and at your job, that honestly you wonder how did they get here. My advice to you is this: while I dictate and mandate that these officers provide you with a quality product and service, not all of them do. When they are identified for whatever reason, if you go to an officer and say, excuse me, this is what's going on, and they fail to respond, we have a checks and balance system in the 911 service. It's called a supervisor's complaint. So if you go to an officer and say, this is what I see, this is what I'm going, this is what is going on, and they don't respond, or they don't respond in a timely manner, just call 911, say I have a supervisor's complaint, explain what your supervisor's complaint is, and send a supervisor out to speak with you. And then when there's an issue where the supervisor can correct it right then and there, you should. If there's a neglect of duty, then we expect him to write that also up and go through the formal disciplinary process. But that's the best way for me to weed out those individuals who aren't living up to the standard that I've set.
Major, thank you for coming today. I'm a new business owner on the 300 block, Park Avenue. Actually, last week I did have a chance to meet the officers at the downtown partnership. I was there with another business owner there. So to kind of voice it, just get to know us. We bought the building and we spent a lot of money in that area. Okay? And the challenge we have is a little different than I think like the market immediate. We have a lot of loitering and we have a lot of nuanced people just hanging out. And we do what we can as a business and with a couple of business owners But still, the challenge is we had foot patrol for a little while, and that really helped, but now that's gone because they're being detailed to other more urgent areas. Are there any plans at all to help us resolve our challenges in that block?
Yes, 300 Park has been the thorn in my side since I got to this meeting. So, as a commander, you get certain things and it becomes your pet peeve. So for me, my pet peeves are 2000 block of Linden and Reservoir Hill.
Thanks.
It's 1800 block of Pennsylvania Avenue at Lawrence. And then I have 300 Park. So normally when I leave out of the district going somewhere, I try to always hit 300 Park. I'll get out my car, I'll address those individuals in that area who are frequenting that liquor establishment. So you have a combination of, unfortunately, individuals who are addicted to alcohol, and then you have another group of those individuals who are not only addicted to alcohol, but they are homeless. So what we've done is twofold. So I reached out first to my sergeant who's in the back, Sergeant Joanne Wallace. She's with the homeless outreach team, because we realized when it came to individuals who were homeless, we're dealing with a segment of society that has to be dealt with a little differently. You're dealing with individuals who are dealing with some kind of substance abuse. You're dealing with individuals who are going through some kind of behavioral crises. You're dealing with individuals who are dealing with some kind of trauma. So we're seeing them at the worst point of their lives, and they're trying to self-medicate. So through the homeless outreach team, we reach them in a compassionate way, a non-confrontational way. They don't dress like me normally, or the sergeant in our Class B uniforms. They have a dress-down uniform, and they try to reach them where they are and try to give them the resources that they need. Be it if they're a veteran, get them in court, get in reference to the Veterans Association. If there's someone who needs mental health, they'll get them with mental health. They'll try to find vouchers for housing, so on and so on and so forth. Because the idea for me is this, is when you're dealing with the homeless, you're dealing with someone going through a behavioral crisis, there's no way to arrest somebody who may not be in their right mind, and no matter how you try, it just doesn't look good. It's, optically, it's just not a good look. I tell individuals all the time, I told the commissioner once before, I said, I go to the barbershop, and when I go to the barbershop, that prepares me for CompStat. Because all of the people in the barbershop are asking me the what-if questions. And so I tell everybody in the barbershop this: there's no correct way to lock up a woman who is pregnant. There is no correct way to lock up someone who is elderly, a child. It just optically doesn't look good. The phrase for it that we've coined is lawful but awful. You may have all the probable cause and reasonable suspicion to make that arrest, but it just optically doesn't look good. So we try to utilize Sergeant Wallace and her homeless outreach team in reference to reaching them and providing them the resources that they need. Now, that's the carrot. The stick is Sergeant Ruiz. I told Sergeant Ruiz on several occasions in reference to the 300 block of Park what I need for him to do, because, like he said, patrol is at a minimum. Officers are constantly responding to calls for service. They're making arrests that are pulling them out of the call pool. They're being utilized for behavioral crises where they have to take an individual and take him to a hospital for several hours. So what I told Sergeant Ruiz and his four-man team to do is this: I need you to randomly get an officer, take him to the 300 block of Park, and start dealing with some criminal and civil citations, to deal with them on that level. So if you do see an infraction, we're going to work through it in reference to the criminal and civil court to address those issues in that area.
Thank you very much for being here. Let's show him our appreciation. I'm sure yes. And just to let you know, you're in a room full of people who want to see a safer, more secure market center. We have the same goals as you. We are looking forward to working with you and all of our other partners from a wide variety of angles to tackle this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'll be the first to say, you know, as far as reaching out to the community, I think we need each other. There has to be a level of communication and transparency. Email is the best thing. Give me a call. Send me an email in reference to concerns. Officer Chuck Lee is my resource officer for the community. So I'm here for you when you need me to send me an email. Thanks for having me.
Let me get your email off the website.
Yes.
Acknowledge.
Major Jones?
Yes, sir.
I guess we butt heads a couple of times.
Never that, sir.
But we love each other because we're brothers. I mean, I'm a former Baltimore City police officer, and he came after me, so it's a good thing. And so he did listen. So before you go, what we would like to do is to give you 2 certificates for 2 of you folks. The watchful eye is out there. We're watching to see what they're doing. It's Officer Austin and Officer Preston. Okay?
Thank you
Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? Appreciate it.